Today, Seeking Safe Havens with Robert Kiyosaki. Hello again, it's Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. I've got Robert Kiyosaki on with me again today. Hi, Robert.
Hello. I always say this, Aussie.
Oh, yeah,
Oi,
absolutely.
oi.
Absolutely. Great to have you back on again. Look, there are two subjects I want to touch on today. The first is what on earth is going on with the current stock markets. They're booming, right? And you wonder where that's going to lead. But also, you've just released a new book focusing specifically on the education of children and getting them to understand more about what's going on. I think those two things might be connected.
Of course, but the thing is, everybody wants to know about the stock market and the real estate bubble and all that. It's a bubble. It's a mania. There's boom and bust and manias. And I just saw that, Robinhood's going to go public?
Yeah.
That's nuts. And they have these things called SPACs, and they have IPOs.
Yeah.
People are nuts today. We're absolutely nuts. So that's why I'm kind of excited about what's going to happen myself.
So let's talk about the bubbles at the moment. We know that the central banks around the world have been pumping, right? And the question is becoming now, where are safe havens? Are there such things as safe havens in this current bubble everything, or do we just have to sit and let it sort of correct before we really can go forward? What do you think?
Well, if I could be so commercial and pump the fact that Harry Dent, my friend, and I are coming to Aussie to do an event.
Yeah.
And the good is, the event is called Robert and Harry. So Harry and I agree on the problem. We don't agree on the solution. And that's my way of saying the solution's up to you. But if you're waiting for the stock market to keep going up or the housing market to keep going up, or the bond market to stay strong, you might be in serious trouble simply because this is the biggest bubble in world history. It's a mania right now. People are nuts. They're crazy.
Yep.
And everybody wants to get rich quick. And as you know, Martin, that's when you get rich poor quick,
Well, the trouble is that, if there is nothing fundamental underpinning what's going on, and if you look at stock values, they're very high. And people will say, well, that's partly because of all of the flows going in from the central banks into the financial markets. The same with property. People are saying, well, I've made a massive amount on paper, right? On paper. But the issue is, are we now in bubble territory, which means that really the chances of this actually holding these levels and sustaining that level of wealth is getting pretty low now?
I think that's really the question, and that's why Harry Dent and I are going to be talking about it. Again. We agree that we're in the biggest bubble in world history. We disagree on what you can do about it. And what everybody should do about it is what you can do about it. So personally, I like crashes. I get rich in crashes. But the trouble is when something comes down, something else goes up. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this time I don't know what's going to go up and down. So I'm just going to stand aside, I'll let the building come down, and then I'll pick up the pieces,
And look, some people have been saying, well, now's the time to go into gold or, Bitcoin, because they perhaps will insulate us from some of these, things that we're talking about. My own perspective, it's hard to make that call at the moment.
Well, that's where Harry and I disagree. We agree on the cause. We don't agree on the solution. So Harry recommends U.S. Treasuries.
Yeah.
I don't trust the government. I'm more Aussie than that. I like gold and silver.
Yeah.
I like Bitcoin. I like real estate and things like that. And Harry is not in that category. I give him a lot of grief because he lives in Puerto Rico. Why would anybody live in Puerto Rico? But he said, well, it's a tax-free nation or a country. And I said, yeah, but if you know what you're doing, you don't pay taxes anyway. So Trump and I are really good friends. We don't pay taxes. But guys like Harry have to pay taxes. So our solution, all I can say is listen to what we have to say and then figure out what you're going to do. That's all.
And I think this is really important, right? Because there is no safe haven silver bullet. There is no one simple thing you can do to protect yourself from this, right? all you can do is to listen, understand, and then try and actually, make some decisions based on what you think is more likely to play out. But remember that there are so many variables in this. I don't think we've ever been in an environment which is so complex.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So Harry says gold's going to go to $400 an ounce. I want to shoot him when he says that.
Fair enough.
And he likes U.S. Treasuries. And some people say cash is going to go to zero. The U.S. dollar is going to go to zero.
Yeah.
But I still have a lot of gold, a lot of silver, a lot of Bitcoin, a lot of cash, and I have a business that makes more money in a crash. Like Rich Dad makes a lot of money in crashes.
Yeah.
But the question is, what's the medium of exchange? Is it the dollar? Is it gold? Is it silver? Is it Bitcoin? Or is it U.S. Treasuries?
Yeah. I think that's the brilliant question, because it's basically what you're saying is, what is the anchor point, right? What is the anchor point off which everything else pivots, right? And that is the fundamental point of disagreement that I see whenever I talk to people. There are people saying, no, it's treasuries. No, it's gold. No, that is the unknown, so far as I'm concerned.
Correct. You got it. And I just keep telling people, I'm just going to move to Aussie and buy all your land.
We've got plenty of it.
No, it's such a rich country. Yeah. Aussie is a very rich country, but like America, we have a very bad school system. They're run by socialists and Marxists and fascists, and they're not run by capitalists. That's why Trump got kicked out. I'm not saying vote for Trump or anything like that, but he and I are capitalists, and so we make a lot of money. We're real estate guys, and we pay no tax. Who would you rather listen to, him or Harry Dent?
Well, let's
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to your book then, because your book is really interesting because you're targeting specifically younger people, right? And basically, your thesis is they're not getting the right education at school.
Correct. Well, no, worse than that, they're taught by fascists.
Right.
Who know not. My poor dad was a good man. PhD.
Yeah.
PhD stands for poor, helpless, and desperate. They're teaching kids about money.
Right.
What do they know? They teach you to save money. And the Fed today, the Fed is 60% of every dollar spent in the United States is fake money. 60%. And you're going to save it? You got to be crazy.
Yeah. So this is really interesting, because what we're saying is that the lack of education, particularly in schools, around money and finance and how things work, is part of it. But also you're suggesting that it's skewed as well, right? And that essentially there's another narrative that needs to be there for people to really understand how things can work. And look, I see this in Australia, right? A lot of people, when they come out into the real world, they basically have very little feel about the value of money. They've got very little sense of, what's a good strategy, what's a bad strategy. So they're sort of learning from basics very late in life.
Right. So that's why, go to Harry or robertandharry.com, because he and I agree on the problem. We don't agree on the solution. In fact, we disagree. And that's what makes it interesting, because you can listen to these two guys who are saying this is the problem. But, as they say in Mexico, ¿qué pasa? What are you going to do about it?
Exactly right.
You're going to sit there and just watch it crash on you? Yeah. Or you're going to say, this is the biggest opportunity I ever saw in my life. So if I was living in Aussie, I'd be watching China. What's going to happen to China? I'd be watching the US. But you're a resource-rich country. And I think Aussie is one of the greatest places to be. But you've got to be careful who you listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I appreciate your time today. I know you've got another interview coming up shortly, but it was really important to get this message out. We'll put the links to the upcoming seminar below, and really look forward to that. I'm going to be part of that too, so it'll be an interesting conversation. Multifaceted, as you say, different views, different voices, different options. And the point is, there's no simple solution. You have to listen, learn, and then make your own decisions. That's an adult thing to do, isn't it?
But the biggest thing is you make more money in a crash.
Yes.
It's like if David Jones raised their prices 500%, nobody would buy from them. But if David Jones said a 50% off, every loser would be in there buying. I shop on sale. I don't shop during the boom,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm having a great time shopping now because everything's on sale.
Yeah, Absolutely. Well, look, thank you very much for your time, as always. Really appreciate it. And we'll look forward to the seminar ahead, and good luck with the book.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.